my God.
There. Now I can hear you. Can they hear you?
Hello? It's working. We did it.
We're good?
I think so. We did it.
Finally. Finally.
Sorry, fans. Sam, how many people are watching? Oh. Let's go, fans.
Alright, we're going to turn you up a little bit so they can hear you nice and clear. And let's get rolling here because I'm sick and tired of these technical difficulties. Even though they are my fault. I mean, it's just going to happen naturally. But we got a lot of football to discuss this week.
A lot of football. Crazy week, too.
8-8. Not a good record. Not a good record.
They got you going to be nice at mine.
It was shaping up to be a pretty good week, I thought. Unfortunately, there were just one too many games that came down to the wire that I lost. And it would appear that you did the same.
Yes, I did even worse. 6-10.
6-10.
7-9 against the spread.
Ain't it? 7-9 against the spread ain't it either. Unfortunately.
No.
Let's
the KBT's 3 for 4. The KBTs, we're due. We're due, folks. Stick around for the KBTs. We went 2 for 4, 3 for 4. We're due this week.
We're due. We're due, hopefully.
We're not just due. We're Purdue. Shout out to my boy Cam if he's listening.
Did you? Speaking of Purdue, did you see the score from Purdue?
Yeah, they got smoked by Maryland.
No, they got smoked by Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame beat the brakes off them. They put up 42 in one half.
Yeah, but they lost to Northern Illinois, so they're irrelevant.
Yeah. I guess let's just jump right into the action here. I guess we'll start naturally with Thursday. Bills 31, Dolphins 10. This was...
Moment of silence for Tua.
Yeah. Tua Mush.
He's on IR now.
Tua Mush. Tua Mush is done.
Tua Mush. Do you think he's going to retire?
I think it's a valid question at this point, right? I mean,
I think it is.
What was it? Everyone last year was saying, right, like, one more hit and this guy's cooked. All right, he's taken one more hit. He has another concussion, so, like...
He even, like spazzed. He lost consciousness. If you watched I didn't really watch Thursday night. I was in Canada for a wedding.
He started doing the whole...
He did the thing with his hand. Like, that's, like, not a good sign.
He did the thing again. Not a good sign. He did do
the thing again.
I'm like...
Yeah.
I mean, I feel terrible for the guy.
I feel terrible for him, too.
But, like, I think it's a very valid question. Like, should he retire? I don't know what doctor is going to
If he was my son, if it was me or if he was my son, I'd be like, it's time to retire. You know what I mean? You got the big contract and stuff. I think you got to retire. It's not worth the long-term health. But considering he's an athlete, he's a competitor, he wants to play, I'd be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miami's in a lot of trouble since they just paid him all that money. They have
an insurance clause, I believe. I think there's an insurance clause if he retires.
They took out a clause on this man.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly, but I read it somewhere that, like, if he decides to retire, then they only guarantee him, like, I think $50 million, and then he's off the books, I think, in 2027.
Wow.
So it's not the end of the world, but that's only if he retires.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills dominated this one from start to finish.
James Cook.
They didn't even.
James cooked you.
James cooked me. Kyle and I had a fantasy matchup this week.
And then on Thursday
actually, you
night.
know what? I mean, I didn't put up a bad performance. I put up 100 points.
Oh, no. Any other team, you would have done well, but my team is just good. Of course.
But this is fantasy, and I had to play the one team that literally destroyed me. So, fair enough.
Me and Biggers on top of the world. Shout out to Biggers if he's watching.
Big country. Let's go, Josh. Yeah, this one was over at halftime. I mean, what was it, 24-10 at half. Dolphins didn't score in the second half. Tua ended up coming out of the game, relieved by Skylar Thompson. So Skylar Thompson's going to be taking over for the Bills.
I don't think for long, though. I think they're going to get a veteran. I think they're going to get, like, Tannehill or somebody. I heard rumors they could even go for Brady.
They let him start the playoff game. There's no way they're not going to let him. I think they'll let him cook.
We'll see what he does this week. Who do they play this week?
That's a good question.
You got the
Miami
Caputer.
Dolphins. Hey, I'm looking it up right now. They are at the Seattle Seahawks, 4-5.
That should be a good game. I think if he plays poorly there, Seattle stomps him, which they could. I think then they might look towards a veteran.
Yeah. Speaking of
But
Seattle,
that's a game they can still win.
Speaking of Seattle, 2-0. That's another game I lost. That's a tough one. I had the Patriots, 23-20, Seahawks in overtime. Yeah, it's a tough finish. I was actually at an NFL game, which we'll touch on later, so I wasn't able to watch all the action like I was last week. But
I was a little more attentive to the 1 o'clock games. I watched a little bit of that. I had Red Zone going in the car on the ride back from Canada, and we were traffic during most of the 1 o'clock games. So this one, I mean, I think it was a back-and-forth battle. Really good game. Went to overtime. Very exciting. Seattle's desperately missing Kenneth Walker. I think with that extra juice in the run game, they're going to be a very scary team. Their defense looks really good. Their offense looks really good, especially when they get Kenneth Walker back.
Yeah.
I think, well, once we get into the Niners with all their injury woes and stuff, I think Seattle or Arizona, we'll also talk about later. I think I think those two are the favorites to win the division with how beat up the Rams and the Niners are right now.
Really?
Granted, it's only week 2, but it's a bold prediction, and I'm very bold. I didn't really like the Niners going into the season, so I think Arizona and Seattle, if they keep playing like this, which is a big if because early in the season, they could make some noise. They both look like playoff teams as of week 2, which isn't saying much.
Stats here: Geno Smith, 44 attempts. They got the W. So how did Zach Charbonnet, 14 carries, 38 yards. He did have a touchdown.
Yeah. That was kind of like a gimme goal line touchdown.
Targets. DK Metcalf, 10 catches on 14 targets. JSN, 12 catches on 16 targets for 117 yards.
JSN has tapped Lockett as the number 2. He's been a stud.
Tyler Lockett, 2 attempts? Or two targets?
Dude, he got the old disease. He got old disease. Dude's washed. Shocking. He's old disease.
That's shocking to me.
Everybody gets the old disease, Matt. Everybody gets it.
Well, I'll tell you.
Not for long, NFL. Not for long.
I'll tell you what. I'm dropping him in fantasy.
Yeah.
After that.
I think the Patriots though they're gonna be. I think they're not.
I think
the worst
the
team in the
Patriots
league, like a lot of people are saying.
Everyone expected. That duo, Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, that's a pretty good duo, man. I'll tell you what.
They're a really good run team, and their defense is really good. I think we'll get into it a little later, a little tease of the KBTs. I think the Patriots are getting way too many points for the Thursday night game.
Who they got Thursday?
They got the Jets, and they're at plus 6.5. The Jets have not impressed me so far.
Patriots.
I think 6.5 is too many points.
Jets, Patriots. Let's move on to Jets.
Many points.
How about we move on to Jets Titans?
Jets Titans, very interesting game. As we all know, we had that in the KBTs.
I'll let you start on that one. Yes.
We had that in the KBTs, the under.
That was a leg that.
But very close because there was that Will Levis. They got shut down at the red zone. The Jets, they look better.
Can we just talk for a second about the Will Levis play? Did you see that? Tell me you saw
No,
that.
which one? The one... he's made a lot of plays.
I was at a stadium watching an NFL game, which we'll get into, and I see on my phone, I'm like, oh my god, the Jets are down 7-0, and the Titans are going in again. I'm like, dude, the Jets are going to jet. They're going to lose to the Titans. Oh my god, I'm just thinking about it. I go back to watching the game, and I look back at my phone, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's the Jets ball in Titans territory at, like, the 10? I'm like, what? Like, what happened? Are they going to field goal or anything? Will Levis. So last week, you saw the pick from last week?
Yeah, I saw the pick from last week,
This
obviously.
one, I think, was worse. He's mid being tackled, and instead of just going down or, like, taking the sack or whatever, he decides to try and lateral it to somebody who's not even looking, and the Jets fall on the ball and they get the ball.
Oh my god!
Like between,
I missed that.
Between the play from last week where he hit the interception off his back foot, and then this lateral, whatever you want to call it, those might be two of the worst plays I've ever seen a professional NFL quarterback make. Like, it's so bad. But anyway, yes. The Jets came out on top 24-17. I mean, dude, what do we think of Braylon Allen? Youngest guy in the league.
Dude, Braylon Allen, this two running back duo of them two, I think can make some noise. I heard a rumor on the street that Nathaniel Hackett did not want to use two running backs because he's stupid. And Aaron Rodgers was like, dude, we're using two running backs. And that was the play where Braylon Allen got that one touchdown that gave the Jets the lead.
Yeah.
And he's just like, told you so, Nathaniel Hackett. Rodgers is a perplexing man.
Yeah,
he loves
he's
his
a weird
voice.
Dude. He's definitely a weird
He's a
dude.
very weird dude. They're definitely better than they were last week, but I just do not see, with how well the Patriots are playing, them smoking the Patriots for a touchdown or more.
Where's the game?
But we'll get into that later. It's in MetLife.
Okay, that does help. That does help the Jets, I think.
It does help the Jets, but like
I do think the Jets crowd is starting to show up more and more this year, which should give them.
This is their home
edge.
opener, actually.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because they were on the road.
It is their home opener.
Week 1
and week 2.
And week 2.
So that'll be interesting. But that's just a little tease of the KBTs. But we can go to the next game.
A tease of the KBTs. All right, I want to talk about. I'm gonna pull a Skip Bayless here, or I'm gonna pull a Stephen A. Smith here. How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? Oh God, it just warms my heart. Even though I took Dallas, I thought, you know what, that game's gonna be close. I did have the Saints on the spread. I did pick Dallas straight up to win the game though. They had it free and often, man. They got whatever 35 beans in the first half.
That was nuts.
That is utterly ridiculous, and Dallas has no excuse. 44
Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns.
Was the final 44-19 scoregami, by the way. For all you scoregami fans out there. That's 2 weeks, 2 scoregamis? Are we kidding me? 2024 is off to a great start.
So it's the kickoffs. I think it's the kickoffs.
It's the kickoffs. More points, more weird scoring.
Dude,
yeah,
kickoffs,
man.
the new kickoffs, bro, guaranteed field goals. If you're not getting a field goal, now you're terrible.
Yeah.
You gotta at least get a field goal on every drive. Because you're starting at the 30 most of the time now.
Well,
you need, like, with how good kickers are, they broke the record for the 50-yard field goals.
I watched an interesting video. It's a few years old now, but it looked at data between the year 2000 and, like, I think it was all the way up to, like, 2020 or something like that. There's a negligible difference in the amount of points per drive when you start at the 20 versus starting at the 30. I believe when it starts to matter is when you start at like the 40 or higher, is that you get more points. So I don't know.
But I'm saying now they broke the record for the most 50-yarders week 1, like in a week.
Oh, you're just saying like the kickers are better.
Yeah, but I'm saying the kickers are better. So like theoretically, most teams now have a kicker that can hit like a 90% rate from 50+ yards.
Like if your kicker's you expect your kicker to make a 50-yard field goal in the NFL.
Yeah, so you expect it. So theoretically, if you start at the 30, all you need is 2 first downs to guarantee yourself 3 points. Yeah. Not guaranteed, but like, so like that's why we're getting all these weird scores. A lot more field goals, a lot more scoring. NFL loves that. Passing's down overall, but
passing is down, and I think that has a lot to do with the smaller field position, less yards to gain, and whatnot.
I think that, and I think also just everyone's doing the 2 high safety looks.
Yeah.
Just to avoid the big plays.
Yeah, I guess there's some. I mean, more teams are doing a committee now as opposed to one guy 24 touches a game or more.
Yeah, true.
Let's look at some of the numbers from this Saints game real quick. Derek Carr, 11 of 16. 243, 2 touchdowns. Wow.
Nuts. Crazy.
Alvin Kamara, 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 tutties. Scored another one on a 57-yarder through the air. Rashid Shaheed had a 70-yard touchdown. Chris Olave had a 39-yard touchdown. I mean, are the Cowboys beat? Like,
I think so.
I think it's a very valid. I mean, it's week 2. It's week 2. I understand. The Saints are legit though, aren't they?
I was very low on the Saints.
Team of the week. Right Team of the week.
Drew Brees.
The New Orleans Saints.
I think the Saints. I want to see one more week.
Well, they got next week.
I do. I know they got next week.
We'll talk about that a little later.
That game is going to be a very telling game for both teams, in my opinion. Because I think the Saints, they played the Panthers, who are doo-doo, so I don't know how much I can really credit that to them. And then they played the Cowboys, who, the Cowboys played the Browns.
In Dallas,
their new defense.
In Dallas's defense, I will say, I don't think the offense played particularly terrible. They managed. I mean, they kicked a lot of field goals. They set up for a lot of field goals. I believe it was they had 3 of them in the first half. Saints were scoring touchdowns. Cowboys were scoring field goals. But like, I don't think their offense obviously wasn't the issue. I mean, that secondary is porous, very porous. I think McCarthy's going to be gone after this. I honestly think it might be mid of the year if it continues this way, because they can't keep getting blown. They can't keep getting blown out like that.
They have a very tough game this week. They got Baltimore, who's 0-2, who's desperate for a win.
Let's actually, let's transition to Baltimore.
Yes.
I was live.
I'm very excited to hear this.
I was live at M&T Bank Stadium for the Baltimore Ravens versus the Las Vegas motherfucking Raiders. And you remember last week, I said Baltimore wins easily. Baltimore wins by 10. The Raiders don't belong on the same field as them. That looked to be the case for 3 quarters. That was absolutely the case for 3 quarters. But you want to know what Baltimore did on the last 3 possessions? I know it was the last 2, but it might have been the last 3. I'd have to go back and check the play. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They were stunned, man. They were absolutely stunned. They had a 10-point lead with 9 minutes, it was about 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, they had about,
And the Raiders just didn't go away. They just didn't. I mean, that defense. Hey, Max Crosby, D-point.
Max Crosby, incredible game.
I'm hearing some rumblings. Yeah, I mean, so let's see here, actually. Their last drive of the game was not a 3 and out, but they did have to go the length of the field with no timeouts. Before that, it was a 3 and out. And before that, they got, let's see. Before that, it was a 3 and out. So, I mean, the crowd was stunned. First of all, let me just talk about the atmosphere a little bit at M&T.
Yeah, I was really curious to hear what the atmosphere was.
They showed up.
What was the fan ratio?
I'll tell you what, the Raiders fans travel well. I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised to see the amount of Raiders fans there. We were sitting, I wouldn't say in a Raiders section, but like we did have a number of Raiders fans around us. Ratios, I mean, it was still mostly Ravens fans. It was probably like 80 to 85 to like 20 15 or something like that. But like the Raiders fans were loud. They were cheering their team on. They never went away. I think the Baltimore fans definitely showed up. They were excited. Home opener. It's a beautiful area over there too. It's like right off the highway. There's like a nice park over there. Camden Yards isn't far away where the Orioles play. So it was a really fun experience. I thought the food was decent. I wish I got more food. I ended up getting like chicken tenders and fries.
Oh, nice.
Can't really speak on the food too much, but yeah, it was a great time. I had a really good time. Beautiful view of the stadium. We were like midfield. We were all the way up, but we were midfield, so you could see everything.
Dude, I saw your seats. You had great seats.
Yeah, I mean, they hit you hard in the pregame too, man. They had a tribute for Jacoby Jones, who unfortunately passed away this offseason due to
rest in peace.
Yeah, he had a cardiovascular issue with his heart, and he passed away. And they had his mom and son on the field during pregame. They got a huge ovation. So they hit you right in the feels, and then it was. I'll be honest, it was kind of boring in the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the first 3 quarters seemed like they were kind of boring.
It was so boring.
The fourth quarter seemed
forever.
Exciting.
It was 9-6 at halftime. We got 5 field goals.
Yeah, it was the last game to end, even though there was an overtime game.
Oh my gosh, dude! It was like, it was so annoying. And then to open up the third, the Ravens go right down the field and score a touchdown. I'm like, oh, all right, they're gonna blow this thing open, right? I think the next drive, the Raiders' next drive, they went for on 4th down. They didn't get it. And then really after that, they just stagnated the Ravens. They had like 4 or 5 drives after that. They got 3 points out of it. So yeah, they stagnated, and the Ravens are 0-2. They're 0-2.
That's nuts.
21 of 23 teams in the last 2 seasons to start 0-2 missed the playoffs. And that's
I think that's kind of overblown. This is a hot take, I guess, on that stat because everyone always brings that up. I think a lot of the teams that are 0-2, like look at the Panthers, the Giants, they like are deservingly 0-2. I think every year there's usually a couple 0-2 teams, which in this case would probably be the Ravens and the Bengals, where they're 0-2, but like they're gonna bounce back. And then I also saw a thing like 10% or whatever when they go 0-2. That's the case if you lose 2 games straight in like any portion of the year. It's usually about 10% of those teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Except for some reason between like week 10 and 11, it's like it jumps up to like 25%.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's weird. I don't know why, but that's just the case. But I think that stat's a little overblown.
Someone should look
Not to make the 0-2 start sound lightly, but I think it's a little overblown.
That's not a good summary.
No, you don't want to start your season like that. Nobody would want to be 0-2.
I'll tell you,
Giving some hope to those Ravens and Bengals fans.
I'll tell you who you shouldn't be giving hope to, and that's the Carolina Panthers. I'm convinced they might win 17 games. I
disagree.
All right. Let me pull up the remaining schedule and you tell me. There's like 2 or 3 games.
I think this swap to Andy Dalton is gonna win them a couple games.
Kyle, they don't belong in the same field as anybody.
No, but I think Bryce Young is cooked. They don't belong in the same field
as any. They lost 47-10 and 26-3.
Yeah, but they lost to 2 really good teams. The New Orleans looks really good now, and then the Chargers, I think, are legitimately.
All right, look, Chargers are 2-0. Yes, I don't know how long that's gonna last. Though. All right, I don't know.
We'll see.
I think the Chargers were fortunate to beat the Raiders in Week 1, and then they got a layup, and they haven't been tested yet. I don't think so. That's my hot take on the Chargers. Good win. This Panthers team is fucking terrible. and they're not just going to be bad this year. They're going to be bad for the next couple of years.
Dude, they threw their whole teacher and a little dude that literally does not have a phenomenal arm and has no running ability. And he's tiny.
Do they have to feel about taking Bryce Young at 1 instead of C.J. Stroud? I mean, that's
obviously. I think it was
that
temper.
might be one of the worst, especially if Stroud continues his career and he continues to be good. That might go down as one of the worst first overall picks ever. Not even kidding. Like that.
That's like Jamarcus Russell levels.
It's getting to that point. That they just straight up benched him.
Did you see him like crying after his 1 pick on Sunday? It's so sad. The man is cooked.
Dude.
Right, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's got benched.
Bryce Young's stats this year: 31 of 56 through 2 games. 31 of 56, 245 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. On the ground, let's see.
No, it doesn't even.
5
you can't even run.
18 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, dude, that's just. They're gonna be bad, and they don't even have a run.
I wasn't even that big on Bryce Young coming into the NFL as a prospect, but like the Panthers have done him no favors, and I think
I think that's a fair statement.
I think he'll go. I think he's going to go to another team, and he might be like a really good backup at some point. But the dude, his career's over before it even began.
He's not a starter. He's not a starter.
No, he's not a starter.
He's not a starter in this league. That's for damn sure. Why don't you take us to Detroit? Let's talk about that one.
Oh, what a game. What a game. Game potentially of the year so far. The Buccaneers, I took their spread. I think it was a lot of points. I think they were 7.5-point dogs, which I was like, bro, what? The Buccaneers? This game was close in the playoffs. That was a nuts line.
That was a playoff matchup last year. Literally last year.
I know. I wish I put that in the KBTs instead of the team that we'll talk about later. But no, but I think that they played him really well. Like they really, honestly, they gave him a bunch of like gimme yards, but like in the red zone, they basically shut him down. And then Dan Campbell's like aggressiveness going for a couple 4th downs, kind of like instead of taking some of the points, kind of like bit him in the ass a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that that the Bucks played really well. I think the Bucks are legit. I don't think the Lions. I think to win against a really good team like the Lions is really telling. And I think
I'll tell you what I'm most impressed with the Buccaneers. They held that Lions team to 16 points, and that's two.
Yeah, the Buccaneers and their defense is banged up right now.
Yeah.
That's huge to have that kind of a win with a banged up team. That makes you think you could beat anyone. Baker's playing lights out. You could argue right now he's the MVP through
Baker
2 weeks.
Mayfield. I love Baker
Dude
Mayfield.
is a stud.
I freaking love the dude. I mean, how could you not love him? He's a dog.
No.
He's a player's player. I'm sure in the locker room he's like the perfect guy to talk to about anything.
Dude, how do you think Cleveland's feeling right now with who they traded away? Who they got rid of Baker for
We'll
freaking
touch on Cleveland.
Mr. Petto.
Who'd you take in that game though, straight up?
I did take the Lions straight up, but I did take the Bucks on the spread.
Took the Bucks on the spread. Yeah, it was a big spread, right? Like,
It was 7.5.
That was a playoff game.
I can't believe I didn't catch that when I was doing the KBTs.
I think everyone thought last year the Bucks were going to get blown out. Like, oh, they don't belong here. They gave him a good game last year, and they beat him this year.
Dude, the NFC South looking really good. Everyone thought it was doo-doo, which, I mean, the Panthers are.
I think
this division's a lot better than it was last year.
I think so, too. Yeah, everyone except the Panthers are a real football team.
Are real legit football teams.
Let's look around. Let's see here. Some of the 1 o'clock games I really didn't get a chance to touch on just because I was at.
We could just do a little quick rundown of my thoughts just because I was able to watch a little more than you.
Let's go Pittsburgh.
Let's just hit them real quick.
Pittsburgh. Denver,
boring. That was 13. Just boring defensive game. Obviously, the Steelers are going to win because they're playing against a rookie quarterback.
Look at the Steelers this year. They're 2-0, 18-10 and 13-6. Is that not Pittsburgh to a T?
That is Pittsburgh to a T.
That's literally Pittsburgh.
I will say, though, Justin Fields has looked very impressive compared to how he was in Chicago.
See what he's done here. 13 of 20, 117 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, sacked twice.
He's just doing what they ask him to do. He's making really good throws
nice.
when he needs to.
Jalen Warren, 9 carries, 42 yards. Yeah, I mean, they don't score a lot, but they don't give up a lot of points. Bo Nix, another.
No, their defense is one of the best in the league.
I mean, the Broncos just don't like to run the ball, do they?
They really can run the ball, especially against that Steelers front.
That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look at Seattle. Didn't he throw it 44 times last week or something like that?
Yeah, that's what you have to do. What they do this week. That's what you have to do. You can't have a good run game.
Well, this week, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'm sure it wasn't pretty.
Yeah. Next game. That game was low-key boring.
Let's see.
Just run through the schedule.
Browns, Jaguars. That's
the
actually
Jags should have won that game.
That's one of the picks
I saw.
I had Cleveland all week, and I'm proud to say I picked the Cleveland Browns after shitting on them last week royally. I picked.
Did you see the Browns had a 12-play drive for 29 yards and a punt? Ended in a punt?
I saw they had a 4th and 36 or something at the end of the game. Was that the drive you're talking about?
No. There was a drive where it was a 12-play drive for the Browns,
and how many yards did they
have? Only gained, I think, 29. What? On a 12-play drive, and they ended in a punt.
When was this? What quarter was this?
I think it was like in the 3rd quarter or something.
The Jaguars or the Browns?
No, the Browns. The Jags played.
Yes.
I think the Jags outgained them.
That is the drive. That is the drive I'm looking at. No, because they started at their own 30 and ended up punting from the Jacksonville 41. So that would be 31 yards. And I can't count the plays right. I can't count the plays right now. Yeah, no, that's what I was like, they got up to the Jacksonville 24. Let's see. Offensive face mask, 15 yards. Backed them up to 2nd and 16 after a run for no gain on 1st down. Offensive holding on 3rd down after an incomplete pass. So now they're at 3rd and 26. Another holding, 3rd and 36. 4th and 27 after a 9-yard gain for Deshaun Watson punted. Because I was convinced. I was like, oh wow, all right, they're gonna win. They're gonna kick the field goal and wrap the shit up. And then, so the Jaguars actually punted with a minute 33 left in the game, and oh no, that's the my microphone. Oh, you know what? No, you know what happened? Oh, that's what happened. See, I thought when I was at the game on Sunday in Baltimore, I thought the Browns had kicked a field goal. They got a safety, dude.
Like, I saw the safety. They got
That's
a safety.
what happened. I didn't see the safety. Yeah, no. So they punted 39 yards to Jacksonville 2. Lawrence got sacked on the first play for a safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, Cleveland. Look at them. Showing up. Doing things. I mean, 18 points. Okay, pedestrian.
I mean, they were outgained. It was Jacksonville. Jacksonville lost that game more than Cleveland won, just from what I saw. They outgained them. They couldn't score in the red zone, and they couldn't.
323 total yards for Jacksonville, 297 for Cleveland. So they did outgain them by a little bit. Cleveland had the ball 5 minutes more, though. Wow, Browns had 13 penalties for 100 yards. Yikes. They had about the same amount of first downs. I don't know, man. Yeah, it looks to me like Jacksonville just couldn't capitalize. I feel like. I mean, granted, 3 of those penalties did come at the on that last drive, one of those last drives. But,
yeah, Jacksonville really just kind of. I don't know what's going on with. I think it's the. If you remember the Eagles from a few years ago with Press Taylor, I think it's a very similar situation there. Dougie P, he cannot. He won't leave his coordinators for a fault, and I think Press Taylor is they're on that experience right now.
Let's get this. Let's laugh a little bit. Why don't we laugh? We laughed at the Cowboys a little earlier. I think it's time to laugh at the other NFC East team, and that would be the New York Giants.
Dude, what were they thinking not getting another kicker?
Bro, I don't think there's anything funnier than the Commanders kicking 7 field goals and winning. How do you kick 7 field goals
like
and win?
1988 or something?
Huh?
To score 3 touchdowns and not allow any touchdowns and still lose?
And lose, dude. I know the Chiefs.
That is nuts.
The Chiefs, they were playing something.
The Commanders never even punted.
Oh, they didn't?
No, the I'm like 99% sure the Commanders didn't even punt.
I think it's fucking hilarious that they kicked 7 field goals and won. So wait, tell me about what happened with Graham Gano. Was he hurt like before?
So apparently Graham Gano was like questionable and hurt like back on Friday. So like they knew he was hurt, and I think he tweaked it during pregame warm-up. So they were without.
That's what I heard.
But then also they only have 50. They only have 51 active players on the roster. They could have got a kicker. This is ridiculous.
So you're telling me they knew he was hurt Friday, chose not to work out a kicker, and instead went with the guy who shanked the extra point, like by a mile.
Yeah. They went with like their bad emergency kicker instead of.
It was Jamie Gillen is the punter.
Yeah. But I don't know why they didn't get another kicker if they knew their kicker was hurt on Friday and they were like, oh, well, he's fine. And he tweaks it during warm-ups, and now they don't have a kicker. If they had a kicker, they would have won that game. Because they moved the ball really well on the Commanders. And they were in field goal range, but they were forced to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that at the time that their kicker was hurt, because I saw them score the one.
They went for
touchdown.
2 on every touchdown. Much,
so I saw them score the one touchdown, and I saw they missed the extra point, so I was like, oh, it's probably just a missed extra point, or something happened, whatever.
No, they went for 2.
The second time, I was like, oh, they went for 2 to like get to 14, right? And then the third time they scored, I was like, all right, something's going on here. And then they had the ball. All right, so hear me out. I think even with Jamie Gillen, the punter, kicking your field goals and extra points, you're at like where were they on the field? They were at like the 24 of the Commanders, right? Or something like that. Yeah. I think you got to try the field goal, don't you?
Yeah, I think they should have.
I think you have to try that field goal. Let me. I'm just scrolling down on the play.
They really weren't that confident after that shanked extra point.
They were at the Washington 22. That's a 37-yard field goal. I think you have to try it.
Yeah.
I know somebody who's made a 37-yard field goal, and they're not even a kicker. In fact, they don't even play soccer. They play baseball.
Yeah.
Like, I think you have to try that field goal.
Yeah.
And
I
then the
agree.
Commanders go down the field and score, obviously. Let's see the, oh my god, you might be right.
I'm pretty sure they didn't punt.
Excluding the knee at the end of the half. I wouldn't count that as a whole drive. You are correct. They did not punt the entire game.
That's nuts.
So every single drive they had besides the knee at the end of the first half ended in a field goal. And they won.
Yeah.
That is
Dude, I don't know if you
wild.
watch Hard Knocks. Did you watch the preseason Hard Knocks or whatever with the Giants?
Oh, with the Giants. You know, I caught a little bit of it. I didn't get totally into it.
I watched it, but like in hindsight, just like with how they've been with this whole kicker thing, and then the Saquon thing and stuff, like I don't know how you keep Joe Shane and Brian Dable for the year.
Shake it up a little bit.
They should have gone a quarterback.
They're really high on Dable. They are high on Dable. They like Dable.
Yeah, but like his answer, like at this press conference, he's just all angry and stuff. Like he's gonna lose the locker room.
It's not a good look. I'll tell you that much.
Right now, it's a horrible look for the Giants.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hopefully they can bounce back for the Giants fans at fandoms, but I mean, ideally right now you kind of want them to lose and then get a quarterback because in this league you're nothing without a quarterback.
I mean,
Daniel Jones is shot.
Not the answer. I know DJ had an okay game.
Yeah, but the Commanders' defense is terrible.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a good defense. Devin Singletary looked pretty good, 16 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown, along with 22.
Yeah.
So he looked all right, but I mean, Brian Robinson ran all over the Giants. They made it really easy for Jaden Daniels. By the way, Jaden Daniels, swell game, 23-29, 250, 226.
Yeah, no touchdowns, but he's been looking pretty good so far.
It's a fine game.
Better than Caleb.
Yeah, better than Caleb. I think we got one more 1 o'clock game here. Oh, and this was a big one. Not shocked. Vikings 23, San Francisco 49ers 17.
Darnold. MVP Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. 97-yard touchdown pass to Jay Jettis. That was electric. That's the type of shit that gets you out of your chair.
Oh my gosh, incredible. The Vikings, low-key, really good.
Yeah, I mean,
NFC North is arguably the best division in football right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at the 49er stats here. Brock Purdy 28-36, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jordan Mason 20.
How many sacks? He got sacked like 4 times, right?
6, a whopping 6 times he got sacked.
6 times.
That was the difference.
That is bad.
Minnesota Vikings
49ers O-line.
Pass rush was the difference. Patrick Jones 2 sacks. Blake Cashman, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Greenard. Jonathan Greenard's a beast. So good. I believe, did Dallas Turner get hurt in that game?
He might have. I'm not entirely sure. I know Debo's hurt. He's now out for a couple weeks.
Debo's gonna be. Is he on IR?
Carroll had cramps.
Yeah, I think Debo just needed or not Debo. I think Caleb.
He's out for a couple weeks.
An IV.
And then you got McCaffrey out. They're not the same team.
A couple of weeks.
They're not the same team without those guys.
Let's see. Turner's day to day.
Didn't Bosa get hurt too?
I'm not sure.
I haven't heard anything from it, but during the broadcast they said Bosa and Jefferson were down on the same play. Jefferson, I think, just had his little oblique bruise.
No update yet on Joey Bosa. I know
Jefferson's day to day
for next week. Yeah,
he says he's gonna play. I think he has like an oblique bruise or something.
I took the Vikings on the spread in this one, and I was very confident. So
what a sneaky play!
I'm not really surprised that they lost, or I should say, I guess I'm not very surprised that the 49ers lost. Yeah, that was a great game for Minnesota. Hats off to Vikings fans. That's gotta feel good. That's gotta be.
Dude, you gotta think like Sam Darnold though. If Vikings were if you got the play from Sam Darnold, what?
Did you see what he said?
Yeah, he's like, you didn't cut me.
He was like, you shouldn't have fucking cut me.
Yeah.
What a guy.
No, but I'm saying if you're a Vikings fan, and just replace the name, you're getting the same exact play from JJ McCarthy over Sam Darnold. You would be ecstatic right now.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
And Sam Darnold been being the stud. You could argue the MVP right now.
Sam Darnold's playing his way back into football relevance.
Into the NFL.
Right
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's
As a
career,
guy who's always high in
that guy's
Sam
career
Darnold.
was over. That guy's
Yeah,
career
you
was
know,
over.
Jets
Yeah.
and Panthers. That's what they do to you.
Jets.
Anyway, but I'm saying
suck
that
life
right
out.
now the MVP race is arguably Mayfield, Carr, and Darnold.
Derek Carr, baby. Derek Carr for MVP. You know what? Let's look that up here. MVP NFL odds. Let's go ahead and see.
It's probably Mahomes.
Let's go to FanDuel and see what FanDuel's rocking. You think it's
It's not probably still be Mahomes. I think it's still Mahomes, just for season long term.
Patrick Mahomes is the favorite. Plus
Yeah,
260.
that makes sense.
Plus 260, bro. He's been terrible through 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, but they don't trust the Donald.
Where's Darnold? Darnold's not even on here. Where's Derek Carr?
Yeah. Where's Derek Carr? Where's
Derek Carr's
Darnold?
plus 3,300. Darnold.
Maybe you think the Saints are
Darnold is
legit?
plus 1,900. 1,500, sorry.
What's
FanDuel.
Baker at? Is he the highest?
Plus 3,000. So yeah, he's higher than Carr. Josh Allen's number 2, plus 500. Stroud's.
That makes sense. Josh Allen's been playing really good, and Stroud. The Texans look really good.
Number 4.
I'm really excited to watch the Texans play the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was
Stroud's the only of the AFC elite quarterbacks. The AFC's all elite quarterbacks. He's the only one that hasn't faced the boogeyman of Mahomes. You know,
Yeah.
all the other ones have lost to Mahomes. He hasn't. He hasn't faced the boogeyman.
Well, actually,
I think they play each other in December. That game is going to be must-watch TV because that's probably going to be really important for the AFC playoff seeding.
Yeah, I think it might be for sure.
Is that the Christmas game? Because that would be nuts. The Christmas Netflix game?
Chiefs. No, it's not the Christmas game, but they do play December 31st at 1 p.m.
Oh, New Year's Eve!
No, December 3rd. Oh, not 31st, I'm sorry, 21st.
Oh, okay. So before Christmas.
Before Christmas. Around Christmas time, though.
Around Christmas time.
Let's touch on that Kansas City Bengals game, huh? I mean,
that was an incredible game.
I'm ashamed to say I did not watch the final drive with the defensive pass interference that set up the game-winning field.
I watched the highlight of it. Was
it a good call?
Oh man, it was a debatable call.
I've heard within the context of the game, it was a bad call. Not a bad call. Yes, it was DPI, but it
similar to the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl.
I don't know.
In my opinion.
I mean, you can't.
I mean, that one was obvious. It was PI.
Everybody watched that.
They weren't calling shit all game.
And you can't call it.
You know?
Yeah, they weren't calling it.
I think it was similar vibes to that, but there was also holding too on the defensive line during that.
Oh, and they didn't call that.
But I mean, well, let's go into this. I think when we talk about Monday night, but I think a lot of times, and almost anything can really be called holding. I think I'd rather let them play unless it's egregious.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't really want to be like that guy where it's like, oh, they called holding, but
yeah, right.
Because everybody low key does it, but it's still annoying, especially when you have a leg in your parlay of Josh Sweat getting a sack.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the most consequential play of that game was definitely the strip sack of Burrow.
Yep.
Who was that? Chamari Connor, I think, picked it up and ran it in for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Gave Kansas City a 1-point lead. The Bengals took a 2-point lead on a field goal later in the game, and then as time expired, Harrison Buckley kicked the game-winning field goal. 51-yarder, 26-25 Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, those games are always fun. I really have to go back and watch the condensed replay of the whole game.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
Get a feel of it. Because I'll tell you what, man. And I'm just going to rant here for a second because I need to get this off my chest. The official NFL videos that do the highlights, they don't paint the picture of the game at all. They take, I swear to God, they take the most random plays from the game and, stick it in. There'll literally be, a 3rd and 10, and it's, at the end of the game, in a tie game, the 3rd and 10, incomplete pass, and then the next play that they show is the same team with the ball, with a first down. It's how'd they get the first down? You'll never know, because they'll never show you. It's small rant.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So I think I'd have to go back and watch the condensed replay to really get a feel for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big win for the Chiefs, man. It's a huge win. Early season win. Bengals start.
I think it's
0-2
low-key
again.
kind of a win for the Bengals. I think they really showed a lot of fight. They almost
but
beat
you
the
want
ranked
to
Super Bowl
win that
champ.
game, though.
Obviously, you want to win.
They're
Obviously, you
0-2.
want to win. But I think the
They're
Bengals
0-2.
are fine. I think the Bengals showed enough for it. I think they're fine. Their schedule's really easy, as I said in the pre-season show. But
Yeah.
I think the Bengals will be fine. I still low-key think they're going to win. I still think they're going to win that division.
I'll tell you what, Baltimore
I'm still
being 0-2,
confident in that.
Baltimore being 0-2 is huge for Cincinnati. That's
huge for Cincinnati. I don't think the Steelers are going to stay out
preseason, and you weren't really looking at Cleveland preseason, but you were definitely looking at Baltimore. Yeah. That's huge that the Ravens are 0-2 for Cincinnati. I think that's a very, very,
very huge. I think they're still going to win the division.
Yeah.
They've always been bad in September. All right, next game.
Next game, what do we got here? What was the other 4 o'clock game?
That was all of them. We did it. The fucking Cardinals, motherfucker. The last leg of the KBTs.
Yeah.
I knew the KBTs was dead after the second Marvin Harrison touchdown. The Rams have no offensive line.
Say your piece.
They have no wide receivers. And the Cardinals look really fucking good. I think the Bills are really good. I think the Cardinals, the fact that the Cardinals were close against the Bills, most people are like, oh, they blew it, which they did. But I think the Cardinals are legit. I think God, they're good. It has that team playing really fucking hard. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud. I think Kyler Murray played arguably the best game of his career against the Rams. I think that they're going to make some noise, and I wouldn't be surprised if them or Seattle ends up winning the division over the Niners and the Rams, just with how beat up both teams are.
Man, I'm looking at the Rams right now, though. I mean, how banged up are they? Preseason, they lost Trey Tomlinson. Kyle Higbee's still on the pup list. Week 1, they lost Steve Avila, Joe Noteboom, Puka Nacua. Now they lose John Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Jonah Jackson, and even the other guy who's replacing Higbee now, Davis Allen, is hurt. They are banged up, man. And I took the Rams. I shouldn't have taken the Rams. I was mad about that one.
Yep, same here. I was really mad too.
I was really, really on the fence about taking Arizona, and I should have just done it. Like, it was such a no-brainer in retrospect.
Dude, I almost had them instead of the Rams, I almost had them in the KBTs instead of the Rams.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't see the Rams going 0-2, and I got burned. I didn't really watch a lot of the Chiefs-Bengals game because I didn't want to watch any football because of the sadness of the KBTs. But this year we got it. This week we got it.
Man, I think I'm telling you this week. I think you're going to hit this week, so I think I'm going to tell you.
I think I'm due. We went 2, 3, 4. It's counting. It's math. Quick maths.
It's math. Quick maths.
It's just math.
Did we talk about...
Did
we talk about the Colts and the Packers?
Oh, that's just a master coaching by Matt LaFleur.
Let's just touch on that.
I think to have Malik Willis be on the team for a little bit. They ran incredibly well.
That's another one.
Packers. I think Josh Jacobs had like 150 yards or something.
I'm mad about that because I had Indy, and I should have realized. I mean, dude, the Texans ran all over the Colts in Week 1, and I still picked them,
So did I, because I was a big Colts guy. Anthony Richardson played really well.
Not a good pick.
He had a nice end drive where they tied it, but then they had to go for the onside, which they didn't get. I think the Colts, they're a young team. I don't know why Jonathan Taylor disappeared in the fourth quarter. I don't think he did anything in the fourth quarter when he had over 100 yards. They had almost all their yards.
I mean, I was thinking
and
to myself.
They didn't do anything with him in the fourth. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the Colts are fine. I think they're 0-2, but I think they'll be fine. I don't know if they're going to win the division.
3 interceptions.
Yeah. But we'll see. I think they'll be fine. I think they showed enough where I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to probably be middle of the road. I think winning the division might be a little too lofty.
Josh Jacobs, 32 carries, 151 yards. Damn! That's a lot of yards.
Yeah, dude is a stud. I think Matt LaFleur is just one of the best coaches in the league. I think coming with Nicholas, who was only traded at the very end. He was traded at like the very end of the preseason. So I think that
extremely good coach.
To have him basically ready to win like that, I think that
he's got his ducks in order. I mean, Malik Willis, didn't do much, but did what he needed to do.
He did enough to win.
12 of 14. I mean, you win, you'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, let's head into Sunday
I think
night.
we got 2 games left. Sunday
We
night.
got 2 more games Sunday night.
Texans are legit. They're a real threat.
The Bears. I'll tell you who's legit. The Bears defense. That's a legit unit right there.
Dude, the Bears defense is going to win the game. I think that if Caleb Williams can be what he was promised to be, which is a big if at this point, because right now he does not look good. He looks like he's trying to. He's not. He's just not looking good right now. But if he is able to be what he was prospected to be, the Bears are going to be really good.
I know they're banged up. With all that, with that offense. But
did you see the thing that Caleb had 37, 36 pass attempts? I think every one of them, but 2, he was pressured.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's not good. Well, I'll read you his numbers.
Not a good look for the O-line.
23 of 37, 174 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 36 of those 37 attempts, he was under pressure.
He had 44 yards on the ground. I believe a lot of those yards came at the end of the game. Yeah, but I mean, look at the Bears' run attack. 14 carries for Swift, 18 yards. Are you kidding me? Dude, I mean, their only touchdown came on the ground, courtesy of Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert, yeah.
I mean, damn, bro, that's tough. I mean, you're putting Caleb in a tough spot if you can't run the ball effectively. Number one, and number two, I don't know if you saw, the guy was taking a beating. Got sacked 7 times.
Yeah, you can't be winning football games like that. You gotta protect your quarterback.
That last hit by Will Anderson, I didn't think he was getting up. I really didn't. I didn't think he was getting up. Yeah, Texans just keep winning. That was a hard. They look really good. Yeah, so I think they played a very underrated unit. D'Amico Ryans is just a great coach. You watch him out there.
He's phenomenal.
He's a phenomenal
coach. He has those guys fighting hard.
Yeah, those guys play for him. I definitely think keep an eye on the Bears defense. That unit will definitely win them some games despite the play by Caleb Williams. Texans keep rolling though, man. Huge win.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it.
Oh.
Let's talk about it because you and I were conversing a little bit last night, but we didn't really get into it. Final score from Lincoln Financial: Falcons 22, Eagles 21. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That hurt.
That stinks.
That stinks on us. I haven't felt that bad about a football game since the Arizona loss on New Year's Eve last year.
Fists clenched. Oh, there goes my mic.
This was end of 2023 Eagles all over at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole game too. That game low key shouldn't have been. They were outplaying the Falcons for most of that game. There's no everyone's like the Saquon drop, which obviously I mean I kind of like the play call.
Look. Everyone's saying run the ball. Fine. That's free real estate. So that's actually a great play concept by the Eagles there. Because if you
caught it, everyone would be like, "Wow, what a great!"
Well, no, because they ran that earlier in the game. They ran that earlier in the game to perfection. You have Saquon line up over top of a receiver on the outside, and you motion him in. If they don't pull a guy, then that's Hurts saying, "All right, I can either flip it out or take it myself." If they do pull a guy, they're respecting Saquon. You have the whole other side of the field open. That's a great play. That's a very well designed play for them. So and it worked, right? Because he was wide open.
Yeah, he just dropped it.
Man, yeah, that stinks. And then I think the decision to not kick it earlier in the game looms large too, because you came away with only 7 points at the half, and I feel like you had 2 or 3 pretty good drives in that first half. So, yeah, I think it's kind of tough. It's just a really tough loss.
Sucks, because we'd be talking about that C.J. Gardner 4th down stop right now if it wasn't for if Saquon didn't drop it.
What everyone thought would have been the game-winning stop there. I don't know. I mean, I thought they could have ran the ball a little bit more with Saquon towards the end of the game. I think they put it in, and that's not a bad thing. They were moving the ball with Hurts, right? I mean, I think he had a pretty good game.
He had a great game on the ground.
Oh, yeah, dude. Vintage Jalen on the ground.
Vintage Jalen.
That was 2022 Jalen on the ground.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I mean, they just
Eagles run defense is doo-doo.
I'll tell you why. Eagles
D-line is Massive
Where
doo-doo.
was the pressure the whole game?
Oh, my Lord.
Kirk Cousins did not impress me. He impressed me on the final
No.
drive. He was very
Yes.
poised. That's a veteran right there doing his job. But, dude, earlier in the game, it was like 7-13 at halftime. 1 sack the entire game. And I'm really struggling to think of another time besides the sack that they got close to him. He was not flushed out of the pocket at all. And that's going to loom large for Philadelphia moving forward. The lack of a pass rush.
We'll see.
It's going to loom extremely large on that unit. I do think that they did, like, the secondary itself played pretty good. I think Quinyon...
Till that last drive.
Yeah, I mean...
Quinyon blew it on that...
Well, if you remember
the moment
earlier,
I knew the game was over was that 21-yard Darnell Mooney catch on that final drive.
Yeah.
Quinyon was, like, out of position. He, like, moved up when he... I don't know why the hell he moved up. Yeah. When you're basically playing prevent. He, like, moved up in the flat. And once Darnell Mooney caught that ball, I was like, holy shit. This is the 2023 Eagles. They're going to lose the fucking game.
They didn't want to get them in the field goal range. Or they didn't want to get them, like, they didn't want to give up the big play. I get it, right? All right, you're playing.
Dude,
but dude, the shell they had was huge.
Every guy was wide open during that drive.
Yeah, I mean, they had it so that in 3
plays. It was a
plays,
70-yard drive, and it was like 40 seconds. It was nuts.
They had 0 timeouts. First play went for 11. Next play went for 21. Next play went for 26. And then within 3 plays, they were at the Eagles' 12. In 3 plays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude.
Oh, my Lord. What are... Oh.
I'll tell you that.
The only saving grace of that drive was that...
What was your
it won me one of my fantasy...
You too?
Matchups.
You too?
Yeah, the Drake London touchdown won me a fantasy matchup.
Dude, me too. What the hell?
I was so pissed.
That's what I was going to say. There's no way. Dude, I
was so mad. I was like, no.
I know.
I was like, I won it, but at what cost?
At what cost?
That's nuts that it happened to you too.
Bro, that's so funny. I was like, the only saving grace is that. And so it's funny too because I had the Eagles defense and Drake London. So I was like, I don't know how this is going to work in the end, but I ended up winning by 1 point.
Dude, I won by 3.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what though, what sucked. Well, I guess it kind of sucked and it kind of didn't. Do you remember when Jalen they had the tush push right to score the touchdown?
Yeah.
Remember the play prior where they ruled?
Yeah, Saquon.
So if Saquon hit that, I would have hit my 4-leg parlay and I would have won like $200. But the kid I was playing against, who I beat with Drake London, had Saquon, so I would have lost. So I don't know, $200 or. I mean,
fantasy matchup.
I would prefer the Eagles to win anyway, but
yeah, I prefer the Eagles to win too.
Win there, but hey, kudos to Atlanta. They stuck around. I mean, I wasn't overly.
I was very impressed with their offensive line, even though the Eagles' pass rush was trash.
I think it's a little bit both.
They're really good.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit.
I think Atlanta's O-line is underrated. I think obviously Steelers did a number 2 on because they're the Steelers. Yeah, but I think they're a really good unit overall. I think they're one of the better units.
I think they got a very good unit up front. And obviously Bijan Robinson's very talented. That duo of him and Algier is, I mean, you could put that up against any duo in the league, I think.
I think they have a really top tier offense. Darnell Mooney, I think, is criminally underrated. He had a couple really big plays during this game.
Well, he had the touchdown. I didn't tell you. I bet Darnell Mooney to score because I don't know why I had an itch.
Dude, I bet Darnell Mooney's over on the receiving yards.
That was one of the legs in the lay. That was one of the legs in the lay that I had. Yeah, so Saquon was the only thing I needed, but yeah, Darnell Mooney 3 catches, 7 targets, 88 yards. They had the 41-yard touchdown pass. Drake London 6 catches, 54 yards, and the game-winning touchdown, 5-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins. So yeah, Atlanta's 1-1. Philly finds himself at 1-1. Easily could be 2-0. And now you're kind of scratching your head at Philly because we're going to take a look to next week here before wrapping up. Eagles Saints. Fight!
This is a big game, in my opinion. I think if the Eagles win, that would be huge. I would regain all the confidence I lost last night. If the Eagles keep it close, as long as they don't blow it, then I will also be like, okay, fine. Because AJ Brown was out for this game. If AJ Brown was in that game, they would have won. I think it would not. Their whole passing game was like Covey was their second most targeted receiver. But like Brandon Covey versus like having him, he was really arguably their number 2.
There's definitely an argument.
I think with AJ, I think they would have won that game. I think they would have won it handily too.
I don't want to take away from what Atlanta did though, because I thought Atlanta did a very.
No, I think Atlanta played really well, but I think the Eagles would have won that game with AJ Brown.
Yeah. So Eagles, Saints. It's a 1:00 game on Sunday in New Orleans too. I know who you're picking.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And I don't think I'm going to agree with you. I think I'm going with the Saints in this one. They're the better team right now.
The Birds.
Dude, if they can't get the Derek Carr, the Cowboys couldn't get the Derek Carr. Who's getting the Derek Carr? Why are they not going to score another 40 points? Tell me what's going to be different. I don't see.
Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds. I don't see.
Also, I was low on the Saints. I'm always right. I was low on the Saints. Go Birds. I was low. If you go by my preseason takes, the Saints played 2 bad teams. This is their first real good team.
No. Incorrect. Another 1:00 game. Texans Vikings. What we got on that one?
Oh, that one's a toughie. I think the Texans are gonna win, but I think it'll be closer than people think. I think the Vikings are.
So my thinking is, it's like, do I go against Minnesota at home for the second straight week, or do I take the team who's healthy right now and looks really good on the ground? It's kind of weird, right? Because like Minnesota did give up 100 yards to Jordan Mason. They let Mason get 5 yards of carry on the ground. And Nixon's been playing extremely well. I know he came out in that game.
Yeah, he's a little banged up right now. He twisted his ankle.
So, it's a valid question. I think it's really going to depend on Justin Jefferson's availability, Dallas Turner's availability. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. I can't really give you an answer, I feel like.
I concur.
Let's see what else we got next week.
Let me look at the lines. Here. There are not really that many good games, to be honest. I think Eagles Saints is very interesting.
Note, I think.
Oh, Ravens Cowboys. I think
that's a big one.
That's a very interesting game. I think Detroit Arizona. Ooh.
Detroit and Arizona. Wow. Oh, in Arizona.
That's gonna be a really good game. In Arizona, I think I like the over there, even though it's only 52.5. I think that's the game of the week, in my opinion. I think that's gonna be a really fun game.
You heard it here first. Game of the week.
Yeah, game of the week. I think Niners-Rams is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a big deal for both teams, but they're both banged up right now, so I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Chiefs-Atlanta Sunday night.
Chiefs-Atlanta. Oh yeah, Sunday Night Football. We'll see how real the Falcons are. It's a home game for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Chiefs are 2-0. Falcons are 1-1. Yeah, if the Saints win on Sunday, that does loom large for Atlanta, because like on paper, right, you'd think this is a game they shouldn't win. But I think I'll probably take the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs have won like 9 straight games. I think I might just pick them until they lose, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see how you could pick against the Chiefs.
Is that such a bad idea? Like,
no.
I think.
And then you got the doubleheader Monday. Yeah,
they're
the
doing
doubleheader
Monday
night. Yeah, gross.
Another small rant. Stop doing 2 NFL games on Monday night. Stop it. No one wants it. No one asked for it. I want to watch one game on Monday night. I don't need all this. What is it? Jaguars, Bills. I don't need that. Commanders, Bengals. Why don't we just have the Bills and Bengals play each other? That's what everyone else wants to see. And then the Jaguars and Commanders can duke it out, and no one can watch that game. Why don't we do that? Can we make the amendment? Can we make the amendment, NFL? Please.
Yes.
Do it. That's what the people want.
Let's hit the KBTs real quick.
I got a couple more. Got to talk about Thursday night's game. Patriots-Jets. Big one.
Yes.
Big one is always
big one.
Jets fans.
Jets home opener.
Jets home opener? I don't know. What do you got?
Well, dude, like as I said, the KBTs. I think I got the Pats.
Oh, it relates.
Yeah, well, let's. I want to bang out the KBTs because I actually got to run. I got to go take the kids to the pool, so to speak.
All right, hit us for your
But
tease.
I'm
Hit us
gonna
for your tease.
KBTs. I accidentally did a 4-point teaser, so I'll say what that is afterwards. But the real thing was a 7-point teaser. Here we go. Patriots plus 13.5. As I said earlier, I think that Patriots they've been playing really good, really tight defense. Jets haven't really impressed me much. I don't see how that's a blowout.
What do we got on the
Packers
spread?
plus 10.
Jets are minus
I think
6.5
it's-
in that game. Just so you know.
Yes, I think that's way too many points. I honestly even
That's a
take the
lot of points.
Patriots straight up on the spread.
That is
Next
a lot
game,
of points.
Packers plus 10. I think the Titans haven't impressed me either. Matt LaFleur's coached really well. I can't see the Titans winning by more than 10.
I'm gonna stop
Next
you
game,
for just
Chargers
1 second.
plus-
I'm gonna stop you for just 1 second. Titans minus 3.
Yeah, it's because of Malik Willis.
That's wild to me.
Bad line. Okay, next game, Chargers plus 9. The Steelers and the Chargers have looked really good, both 2-0. The Steelers, I can't see winning by more than a touchdown.
Steelers
if they
are
do
favored
win.
by a point right now. Over under's 35. It's not
And then next game before I have to run out of here is Ravens plus 5.5. I don't see how the Ravens start 0-3. They're on a vengeance, and Dallas sucks. So,
Man, I tell
bada
you
bing,
what,
bada boom,
I gotta think about that
and
one.
I gotta run. What?
Hold on, you're not running. We're gonna sign off. We're gonna
Dude,
sign
I
off.
have. It's coming out of my butthole. I gotta go.
All right, that'll do it for Picks Podcast this week. Follow us on Instagram at Picks_NFL. My partner's gonna go take a shit, and I'm currently watching him on his phone that you guys can't see, thankfully. I might take my AirPods out though, so I don't hear it. All right, yo. We'll see you next week. Tune in.